Hi there, thank you for stopping by to share with Julie today. I hope you're having a fantabulous day today. And in this video, I'm doing a kind of different kind of video. This is not a health thing per se, but this is what I call my almond story. That's what I call it, right? And it's not a story in the sense that it's something that is unreal. It's just a little bit about my growing up and my experience with the almond tree. So I grew up in Kingston 8, Jamaica. Yeah, I grew up in Kingston 8, Jamaica, and we live in what is called a tenement yard. For most of from I was a babe until most of my teenage years, we lived there. And a tenement yard, for those of you who are not familiar with the Caribbean, a tenement yard is like it can be a big yard or a small yard, but it's a yard where several people live, and it could be families and individuals, various mixes. And in some yards, you share certain things, like you might share one bathroom, or you might share one toilet that is usually on the outside, or for some tenement yard you might have your own bathroom, toilet, and so forth. So it's that kind of thing. But that is quite common, especially in the inner city areas, because I grew up in an inner city, or what they call ghetto. So in those type of areas you find, and I think also maybe in some of the country areas also, but I know for Kingston and St. Andrew, because I grew up there. So anyway, so in this yard there was a calabash tree, there was a guinea tree, there was a tamarind tree that actually served as part of a border. So some of the tamarind was over our side and some was over the other side. And I think there were two ackee trees. Was there two ackee tree? Yes, but I know for sure the almond tree. We had an almond tree. And the almond, we used to look forward to the almond, bearing, because almond was not like, no, if you want almond, like anytime you want almond, you could just walk into the store and get almond. But that was not our reality growing up. I mean, we had to wait until it was almond time, which was, when the almond would bear. And, when you start see those little green almonds, coming up, and you'd be like watching them. You can imagine us as kids, you're watching these almonds because you can't wait until they start, turning that reddish, yellowish color. Sometimes, a combination of the reddish yellowish color, and they'll soon fall. And sometimes we didn't even wait until they fell. As soon as you see them start turning color, we'd be trying to get them off the tree. You'd be stoning the tree. Stoning the tree means that we would throw stones up into the tree and trying to, hit the branches or so that it will fall. Or sometimes we had what we call a hook, which is a long stick. Usually it's bamboo. It's made of bamboo, and we at the end of it, we would tie a piece of, like the rack, the hanger that you use for clothing. We would use that piece of wire and tie at the end and have it hooked over, so you could hook the fruit and pull it down. But mostly, especially when we were small, we would, just wait until the almond fell. So when the almond would fall off the tree, what we would do is that, I mean, because then we didn't even wash them. We didn't even wash them because, I mean, they would fall off the tree. And then we did not have, in our yard, we did not, it was not concrete, it was dirt. We used to play in the dirt. And um, I'm so grateful it was not concrete, because I can imagine the number of bruises I would have by now, for all the falls that I took running all over the place. Um, so when the almonds would fall, what we would do, we just, eat the almond. We would eat the outer, we call it the flesh. We call it the almond flesh. So we would eat that outer area of the almond, and we would bite into, because after you eat the fleshy part of the almond, then you came to some part that like stringy. It looks like thread here. It looks like thread, like several different, thread like. And so we would bite it down to that level. I hope I find pictures, so I'll just add them as I go. And then we would bite it down to that level. And then once we were satisfied that we have gotten everything we could, then we would put the almond, the rest, what is left, onto stones. We would put them on stones and let them dry in the sun. We'd let them dry in the sun. And once they were dried, we would take stones, we would get these stones, and then we would break them apart, and then we would eat the what you call almond nut. Well, but it is in fact the seed. It is actually the seed for the almond tree. It's not a nut per se. It's not a nut. I know everybody says almond nuts, but it's not nuts. It's the seed for the almond tree. So we would eat them, and I mean so we'd have our season. So we'd have those seasons, and we get used to the season when it would be almond time, and when there would be no almond, and we were okay with that because we got used to that, and we got to understand that there were some times of the year when we would have certain fruits, and sometimes of the year when we wouldn't. And that's how I grew up, and I think that's kind of lost on like the newer generation. I don't think, because they're used to just getting things from the supermarket, they've not had that experience. And it's a good experience, I think, to have, to when you get that experience, that understanding, that because that was how it was. There was a time when it was guinep season. That's what we would say, guinep seasons, and when we would have guineps. There were times when it was, ackee would bear, and we would have ackee. There were times when it would be mango season, and we had mangoes. And that's how we grew up, with these different cycles that I realize is lost so much. And being in the somewhere different from the Caribbean as I am now, I realize how much many kids are not exposed to that. And so the story of the almond really is just to basically for people who have not had that experience, because almond is popular and people like to eat almond. It's tasty, but they don't really know how it's how the almond came about, and they see it available all the time, when in reality almonds, in its true sense, it doesn't bear continually. There are times when almond bear, and times when the tree, you will not see anything on the tree. So it has its season. That's one. And the second thing is that now we would eat so many almond, we would just eat a whole lot. I mean, growing up, we didn't eat that many, because you couldn't eat the whole process of eating the flesh and then having the seed to putting the seeds to dry, and then we had to share it among ourselves, as kids. So we did not have that many almonds. So we in our adult years, we actually eat a lot more almonds than we would then, and how we probably would naturally, in the natural process of life. We eat a lot more almond seeds than we actually would. That's the second thing. And the third thing, that almond is actually a seed and not a nut, you know. And so the next time you eat, you're going to bite into some almond, at least you know a little bit of story about the almond itself. And of course, I'll add in some pictures. I'll try to find some pictures. And not just in Jamaica, in Barbados especially, in some parts you go, it's just the almonds they just bear abundantly and just, fall all over the place. Um, you know, but so that is the story of the almond. I've got a lot of stories growing up. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you found this useful. Subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos. Don't forget, be the change you'd like to see in this world. Have a fantabulous day today. Ta-ta!